Hello, this is Snipers227 here with my first tutorial on OpenGL. Basically what I'm going to go through in this tutorial is setting up the framework for OpenGL. Now you can use a lot of things to run OpenGL such as glut, SDL, FreeGlut, and Win32, which is what I'm going to use. It's probably the hardest out of all of them to get OpenGL running. Yeah, I'm going to be using Visual Studio's C++ 2010, and what you want to do first is run it, obviously, then go to New Project, Win32 project, name it anything. I'll just name it OpenGL Tutorial 1, save it wherever you like, hit OK. Then you're going to get this dialog box asking you just hit Next. Make sure Windows application is selected, hit empty project, and hit finish. So now over here you have 3 folders: your resource files, your header files, and source. The only 2 we're going to need is probably header file and your source file, and this is your project. So immediately click on your project and hit properties, or you could just go to project and properties, go to VC++ directories, click on that, include directories, just hit the drop down list and hit edit, and basically what we're going to do is include all the OpenGL files or the OpenGL files, so we could run OpenGL functions. So I'm just gonna look, I think it's here, yeah. I'm just gonna use the glue 1.9 library because it has OpenGL, and I'm gonna select the GL folder right here and hit OK, hit apply, then go to libraries, and we're gonna do the same thing, except we're gonna choose the lib folder. So glue, lib, select, OK, apply. So the first thing you want to do is we're going to make our framework, so choose your source file, and I'm going to name this main.cpp. First thing you want to include is obviously windows.h, which we'll need to program the Win32 window and get it running, and then you'll probably want to include glue.h. That's basically the OpenGL header file. Basically, you could also download the real OpenGL SDK, but I'm using Glue because it already has the gl.h and the glu.h in it, plus other files for OpenGL extensions. So it's basically easier to use this, and yeah. So once you've included those, I guess we have to go back to properties because I forgot to do something. We're gonna go to, if you're using Visual Studio, or if you're not using Visual Studios, you don't have to do this, but for some reason Visual Studios doesn't like it when you use text, so we're gonna when you use strings for certain areas, it gives you an error, so we're just gonna have to change one of the settings so we could use strings for some of the fields. Trying to figure out, yeah, go to general settings, go to character set, and use multi-byte character set, apply. Then we're gonna go to linker, go to input, and we're gonna put OpenGL, OpenGL 32.lib, semicolon, GLU 32.lib, semicolon, and GL glue or 32.lib, semicolon, apply. And basically when you use that, just tells the linker that we're going to use those library files. So first thing you want to do is, obviously you're going to create your main function. So in every function or every programming language, the code usually reads the main function first. For Windows console, it'd be int main, like that, but for this it's going to be int win API win main, and it's going to take a bunch of instances. So first one is h instance, second one's another instance, which is h previous, no, this one's lp-ser, lp-cmd line, and int n cmd show. Show. So first thing you want to do is make your Windows class, and then whatever you want to use. I'm just going to use wc for Windows class, and wc.cls extra be set to 0. W class wind extra 0. This is just extra memory for our application. We don't really need it, so we're just going to set to 0. Now this is a background, and we're going to do hbrush because it's a brush, and use a function get stock object, and I believe it's brush lt gray underscore brush, so light gray. Background's going to be light gray. There's much more like white if you want, or dark gray, I believe, but for this we're just going to use light gray. wc dot the cursor, we're going to use load cursor function. This is just like the cursor, so basically this thing right here is a cursor. You could load a custom cursor in, but we're just going to use a default cursor. So our instance is h instance, and the cursor name is ADI underscore application, I believe. Application IDC, sorry. Oh, wrong field. IDC arrow, sorry. The next one, which is the icon, is going to be IDI application. So this is the icon that appears at the top. So basically that icon here, the Visual Studio's icon. Again, you could have your custom icon, but for this tutorial we're just going to have basic Windows icon. So that icon down there is going to be up there. IDI app location, and next one, our instance is obviously h instance. WinProc is going to be WinProc, which is going to, it's underlined now because we haven't defined it, but basically the WinProc is going to have, it basically stands for a Windows procedure, and it's going to contain everything like wm create, which is what you want the program to do when the window is created, and wm destroy, which is what you want the window to do when the window is destroyed, and a bunch of stuff like that. wc class name, you can name it whatever you want. I'll name it GL for OpenGL, and wc dot menu name is null because we don't have a menu right now. And for style, we're going to use cs fear draw or cs underscore h red draw. One second, I'm just gonna. Alright, I'm back. I was just looking into something. So the next thing we're gonna do is, after we've created all the basic stuff for the window, we're gonna make an if statement saying if register class, and then do wc because that's what our class is, message box. One sec, just gonna, sorry about that, I was just quickly checking something on the internet. It's that's what I suspected. It's if it isn't registered, and our class is WC, so if WC isn't registered properly, we're gonna make a message box, which is null. The text is gonna be error. It's just an error message. Cannot register window class, and then the caption, which is thing on top, is going to be error uint. So I'm just going to put an OK button so user can hit OK, and it's going to return 0. Next, we're going to actually create the window here. So we're going to do a capital HNWD, which is the handle window and whatever you want, which I'm just going to make mine H capital D and semicolon. Actually, you know what? Let's make a header file to make this easier and call this main.h. We're just going to store all our important stuff like this and here and that in there. So instead of having that, we could just put include windows.h here and include blue, so it's a lot cleaner. Put that there, and then all you have to do here is include and then quotes main.h. The quotes, the difference between this is in like a library, which is our include in Windows, and quotes is something within your project. So this main.h is within the OpenGL tutorial 1 project, so you can just put in quotes. And basically it reads everything, or well, it mostly reads everything here. So whatever, say I didn't have HN, for example, say I didn't have the Windows handle in there, I just say create a window. That's a bad example. You know what? I'll explain it after. Right now we're just going to make the window, so you just do HR window handle name, which is H capital W and then lower space ND, and the function is create window. That's the older function. There's a new one called Windows X, and the same thing for Windows class. It's Windows. You could also use Windows class X. So I'm just going to use window, create window because it's easier, and the class name is GL, which we define up there. And the window name, let's make it OpenGL window. Damn it, window. OpenGL tutorial number 1. And the next is the style. So basically, what we're going to do here is window style WS and overlapped window. Actually, you know what? Just to make it easier, overlapped window would be your basic window. So a window like this where you have all of this and you can resize it. But for this OpenGL application, I don't want I hate writing resize code for OpenGL, so I'm just going to make it WS. Trying to think. I think it's minimize box and WS visible, so you can see it. Minimize box is basically this and this, but this is grayed out, so you can't resize it. I think that's it. We'll see if it's right when we run it. So the X and the Y is basically the X and the Y where you want the window to appear. So I'm just going to do 0, 0, so the window starts from here. You could probably center it if you want, but I'm just going to do 0, 0 for to make it simple. And this is the width and the height. And basically what I like to do is, again, we're going to go in our header file, and we're going to do hashtag define window width, and we're going to make it 800, and hashtag define window height 600, and over here we're going to put window width for the width of the window, and window height for the height of the window. So now, when it's looking for that, I'll just read this. And we're just going to do null, null for the menu, for instance, h, instance, and null. So, semicolon. So what I was saying before is, if we didn't define this, see if you take that out now, because it basically looks to the main.h to find all its, well, most of its stuff. See, it's not defined there, so we're getting an error saying that's not defined. Pretty basic. And yeah, so now that we've created the window, we'll create another RMS if statement. So if not so if the window isn't created, basically we're gonna make another message box for the user, which is gonna be null, and then error semicolon or colon cannot create window. And then for the caption, again, error. And for the U type, we're going to just do message box OK button. And then again, return 0. Yeah, so now basically, if you run this, just going to see if it worked. It probably wouldn't work. Or it would. Yeah, see. Message. Take that out. You know what? Basically what would happen right at this point is the window would just quickly flash for a second and close, because we haven't written our while loop to keep it running, and we still haven't written the Windows procedure, so even if the window would stay, we wouldn't be able to exit it. If I clicked like the X button over here, it closed, but since we haven't defined any of the functions in the Windows procedure and written it, it'll just stay there, and you'll have to probably go into, you'll probably just have to go here and just hit close all windows, or use Control Alt and use the task manager to close it. So right now, I'm going to quickly write the Windows procedure, so I'll just call back and then WinProc, because that's the name, and it takes the window handle, so, and then what else, it takes message type, W-param, and then the L-param, and just gonna make a switch statement, so switch message, or a case statement, sorry, so switch and case WM create. For now, we're gonna leave it blank and just hit break, case WM destroy, case WM quit. And the reason I'm not putting anything is because these are basically all the same. So WM close, I'm going to do post quit message and pass 0, which means basically post quit message is the function used to close the window and everything. So I wrote nothing here because these are basically all the same. And just put my break. That's about it, and I'll just has to return something, so return, I think it's def WinProc, I'm not too sure. Let me just quickly Google it. Oopsies. Procedure return. I just forgot the name. It returns def Windows proc, I think that's it, def window proc, there. I just used the short form for window instead. And it's H, the window handle, the message, W param and oopsies and L param return. So now we have that. So basically you got your basic functionality, so when you click the X, the window will close properly. And now to keep the window running, we're going to do while 1, which stands for false, and we're going to do while, I believe it's peak message, where is it? Or message, or yeah, you have to define the message, so just write message. The rest is null. Oopsies. Open that up. Are we getting error? Oh yeah, oopsies. And if get message, oopsies, message, no. I'm not sure if I filled that incorrect. One sec. Let me just quickly check. Sorry about that. I didn't come prepared, so I did do this wrong. This one should be null, and the rest should be 0 and 0. And this should be PMS no remove. And well, it isn't getting the message to close, so null, and these should be 0 and 0. We'll fill this in later, but for now just write break, and then do dispatch message and message, and then translate message and our message, and then outside of the loop, the windows, this needs to return a value, so we're going to do return, and as an integer, message.w param. And now we'll run it, and hopefully it'll work. Not open for writing. Oh, that means it must already be open, and I just forgot to close it. So, see, this is what happened. I quickly ran it before, and I didn't have the Windows procedure, so it didn't close properly. So, debug, start debugging, hit F5. It's going to compile the code and read it, make sure everything's good, and if it's good, as you can see, we have our window. And I messed it up. I didn't really mess it up. I just forgot the command. So see, if you hit overlapped window, it'll work. I'll quickly Google the other thing. See, now you have the window. You have that's the Windows icon. Maximize, minimize. You got the background, which is light gray. You got the name, OpenGL tutorial 1. It's 800 by 600. I can't really measure it on the screen, but this is overlapped window. Basically, it has all your buttons. What I'm trying to do is basically get this grayed out. So now, if you hit close, it should close. For some reason, it isn't. So we'll have to go through our code again. One sec. Post quit message. Overall window. How long is this tutorial? 14 minutes. That's a while. So, yeah, you got your basic window, and that's it for now. I do believe in the next tutorial, because I don't like the classical Windows, I'll just quickly change some things up, and I'll quickly examine why this isn't working. I just don't want to sit here. So basically, yeah, you got this so far. You got your main.cpp, you got your window running, got the basics of Win32, well, not the basics, but a feel for Win32 programming. It's, as you can see, it's all run through handles. And yeah, this is my first tutorial, so I'll try and come prepared next time and not have a bunch of pauses during it. So Snipers227 out. Hope this tutorial helped you. Comment, rate, subscribe, and hopefully number 2 will be up soon.